Chick Tok time. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, all that stuff. My girl sends me TikToks because she's always on the damn thing. Now, sometimes they're good. Other times, they're absolute dog shit. And for those, I bring them here. Lately, though, a lot of you guys have been on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and you're sending me TikToks. So this is the collection of the TikToks you guys are sending me. And if you thought they were horrible before...
That's you making fun of people who are new to the gym. Here's you screaming about 400.
Up, get it up, up, up.
And there's someone significantly lighter and significantly younger than you warming up with it. Be nicer, bro.
All right, not gonna lie. I caught a chuckle out of that one. He had to be the most goth-looking, emo, Netflix, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch thing ever. And it's just funny because he looks like kind of a wimp. Meanwhile, you got this big black guy getting there and like, oh, I hate dudes at the gym. And he's like, hey, bro, how's it going? Then just starts deadlifting 400 pounds to flex. I'm like, good on you, sir. Good on you. Yeah, it's a wee, but boy can lift. Boy can lift.
Diet Coke is one of the worst things that you can put in your body. In fact, it's actually way worse than normal Coca-Cola.
One of the worst things you could put in your body. Cocaine, MDMA, ketamine.
And I'm going to tell you right now because I get it. It has 0 calories, 0 sugar, but it has something much more harmful. Aspartame.
Aspartame, aspartame.
Which is an artificial sweetener that's actually banned in many countries outside of the US. And the reason it's banned is because this chemical compound actually...
We'll stop you there, mate. We'll stop you there. I could do what a lot of people do on TikTok and pull up all these studies and evidence and PubMed codes that no one's going to check. But I'm just going to tell you this. Aspartame, or aspartame, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is harmless. Harmless. Artificial sweeteners, harmless. But water's better. If they wanted a glass of water, they wouldn't have had Coke in the fucking first place, would they? I'm sure that a bowl of fucking carrots is better than low-calorie ice cream, but they fancied some fucking ice cream. So be careful listening to blokes like this. Human beings have a tendency to believe other human beings that say things in an assertive way. That's why we have some people that believe the world is flat. Yes, flat earthers, which is mad. Oh, and to any of you flat earthers that are watching this, all right? You know, like the moon, and like the sun, and like Jupiter. Spherical. Mad. Take a fucking hint. See you tomorrow.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank God aspartame is safe. Okay, so you guys, well, the guy who sent this one to me is like, look, this guy does what you do. He hates bullshit. And I'm like, hey, it's nice. He's the fitness bullshit guy. Aspartame, though. Has anybody ever pronounced it? What did he do? He gronked it with aspartame. It's aspartame, right? Like, I'm not stupid. Am I stupid? I don't even know. So yeah, this is the one you're sending me. It's like, hey, don't worry. You're not the only guy out here talking mad trash against goofballs who don't know what they're doing. And they hate other grifters. I'm like, I think I've found a brother. Is this what it's... Where's that when Milhouse says? Like, is this what it's like when doves cry? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, got one more. You're going to like it. Or maybe you won't like it. Like, the visual doesn't sell it, but the message is solid.
This gotta be a joke, right? There's no way that this is real. I hate to use the term, but this is the biggest beta male fucking energy I've ever seen in my entire life. At no point in time does it ever cross my mind that my girl might be with somebody else. I'm confident in the fact that she's with me and me alone. And I don't need to go to the gym to be able to keep her. I love you guys, but that's the #1 thing that really fucks most men over. Like, genuinely fucks them over. They don't do shit for themselves. They do shit because they want a woman. And if your main motivation is the idea that the girl that you like or the girl that you want to be with or the girl that you are with is potentially getting railed by another guy, you got your priorities fucked up. Your whole mental health situation is fucked up. Your life is fucked up. Take care of yourself because you deserve it. Take care of yourself because it's good for you. Take care of yourself because you're a man. Take care of yourself because No one else is going to take care of you. And for Christ's sakes, love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, no woman's ever going to love you. And that's the truth.
It's the Canucks hat that sells it, you know? That's the old school Canucks hat. I don't know if you guys are hockey fans, but the Canucks used to have this really cool, like, sunset looking thing, and then they switched to the stupid stick. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, there's so many guys I saw on this ever since my old video of, like, George Bruno, where he's like, he sent out a tweet, unironically. If you don't know who he is, ask around, somebody will tell you. He's kind of like, he's like my personal favorite lol cow of the Manosphere. Oh, he's fucking brilliant. He's fucking brilliant. Stir your chopsticks for the vortex effect, fellas. Anyway, he was like putting out his thing. He's like, if your girl earns more money than you, you gotta hide money under the bed, because then she's gonna leave you because she doesn't date broke guys. And it's like this weird tradcon fantasy that if it's not for what you bring home at the end of the day, she can't stand you other than your check. And it's like this weird guy neuroticism, which is weird because that used to be like how you'd market to chicks in the 60s. But now for some reason, beta males in 2020 are like, oh, eating that shit up. And that's the other thing. It's like, oh, dude, if you don't have a six-pack, no six-pack abs, you're not 6 feet tall, 6-figure salary, she's going to be railing 3 dudes in the parking lot every night. And then they start building themselves up into this weird anxious mess. They start looking at their girl all paranoid. It's like, where did you go? You slip a GPS tracker in her car, and then it just shows the grocery store. Who were you blowing in the grocery store? She's like, I bought lettuce, you idiot. You're like, where's the lettuce? Let me see it. You're like, it feels a little light. Let me see the receipt. Ah, you left the lettuce at Tom's house, didn't you? And then you have these stupid fights where the girl is... I've seen guys have these fights. It's actually kind of funny because the girl's not even like defensive or angry, more confused. But she's feeding off of that fucking little dick energy. And so the fight starts, but nobody's really invested. The guy's everybody's dancing around the subject. He's like, I don't want to lose you. And her issue is like, I need you to be the guy that doesn't think I'm not going to lose you, so I don't want to go suck that guy's dick. And then it's just messed. It's messed. So yeah, look, I will tell you right now, if infidelity is a concern, and it's a concern, there's like that genetic thing with the cavemen, makes sense. If it's a concern, you'll find out eventually. Have you, in the history of ever seen your girl or a girl keep a secret? They fucking suck at it. She'll hide it from you for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. Oh my God, you don't know. Yeah, you won't know, but you'll find out soon enough. She won't be able to shut up about it. She won't shut up about it. She'll leave hints lying around the place. All of a sudden there's condoms around the house that you didn't own and don't fit you. And you're like, that's weird. I guess maybe she's just, I don't know. I can't even think of a non-medical use for using them or whatever. So it's like, oh, maybe I need to kick her ass to the curb. Maybe I need to put her in the streets. Maybe it's time to start watching some content where they unironically talk about 304s everywhere.
Ian, not Ryan Stone. I think he's the most important guy in the world, Ryan Stone. Give a about Ryan Stone. Me and him have gone back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Ryan Stone does not pass the 6-foot test. He's not even a man. So I don't give a Ryan Stone.
Kings, it's not too late to get that 6-pack for the summer. Just make sure you're spending 7 minutes.
Not only is this guy kind of annoying,
2 sets of 30 seconds of sit-up twists.
I want to bring something to your attention. Something called the swimmer's body illusion. Imagine someone, if you will, that wants to get in shape. They think the bodybuilders look too swollen and stupid, and they think runners look too skinny and miserable. They go, oh, swimmers, they've got amazing physiques. I'll start swimming. 3, 4, 5 months in, they realize they don't look like a swimmer. They're like, what the fuck is up? They then come to realize that swimmers don't look the way they do because they swim. They swim because of the way they look. People think I'm big and broad because I played rugby. No, I played rugby because I was big and broad. When my whole school year went to play rugby, only the big guys and the fast guys and the athletic guys actually enjoy it. Then they continue doing it and getting better. Those that don't. So when we see people in shape like this, I'm sure it works very hard, but genetically spread across populations are some people that are just going to build muscle quite easily and remain relatively lean with minimal effort. So people like this don't look the way they do because of what they're preaching. They're preaching what they preach because of the way they look. That's why most personal trainers are really incredibly unfucking relatable. They're a non-empathetic, broccoli-wielding ball bag, and because they're in good shape, their friends go, you should be a personal trainer. They wonder why it doesn't last out. They're only doing the job because of the way they look. They're not the way they look because of the job they do. It's important to keep that in mind whenever you see some cunt in baby oil online tensing his muscles and telling you to do ab workouts.
Some cunt in baby oil online. Dude, that line belongs in a museum. I love that one. Dude, that guy's awesome. I can't remember who it was. I should have saved the names of who sent me these things, because some of you guys are all right. I like that guy. First off, the haircut has like Australian I don't give a fuck vibes to it, which is awesome on its own. You know, kudos to him. I'm not one to judge for hairstyles. But secondly, yes. Oh, God. The amount of people I see trend to the nines with like some crazy genetic thing, like 6'4", like the AJ Cortez types. I don't get it. Why don't you guys just do exactly what I do? It's like, dude, that's not how bodies are built. And this is why, like, when it comes to like when the Red Pill's talking like fitness advice and stuff, like we don't go too hardcore. It's always just like strong lifts, basic bare bones, because you're never going to cater to everybody's style. And some people are like I know they did some studies where Asian people, I guess they have a lot less receptors for testosterone. So it's actually harder. You need more free-floating testosterone in order to absorb it and make your muscles or whatever. And I think the Germans had like a ton of it. I think Samoans probably were the best in the world, something like that. So like depending on your ethnic breakup and your DNA, like you can, if you're on HGH or whatever, you're gonna need a lot more than another person. Or some people are really good at staying lean. Some people are staying thick. Like, so yeah, when you see some guy bragging about it, I think they just found a liver king. If you don't know this guy who just says, eat raw liver and you'll be jacked. And he's completely yoked. They found out he was on more steroids than horses. And they're like, oh, all right, fair enough. I guess it wasn't the fucking liver. But how many guys do that? They all do. They're like, dude, my thing, like whatever it is that I do is awesome. And you're a beta male if you don't do it. And then behind the scenes, they aren't even doing it. It's either genetic or whatever. So it's just like, I don't trust naturals to begin with when it comes to game. Like a guy who looks like he doesn't have to try hard. He couldn't teach me nothing. It's like, oh yeah, just walk up to a girl and say hello. It's like, well, okay, Mr. Cortez. If I was 6'4" with that big Cro-Magnon forehead, I'd be able to just sit there and grin like an idiot too. But unfortunately, I don't have those skills. I actually have to string a sentence together, throw on a smile, be a little charming, call a girl a cunt from time to time. So yeah, I'll take my fitness advice from a guy who looks like he started as a fat dude, rather than listen to the natural tell me, oh, just talk to him, bro. It's like, hey, just fuck yourself.
Here's a recent court decision involving separated parents of a 2.5-year-old boy. The interesting thing about this case is the father tried to use secretly recorded audio and video evidence in support of his application for a change in the parenting arrangement. In July 2021, the parties separated. At that time, the mother brought a protection order application against the father. He consented to that application being granted, so an order was made for a protection order against him. He says now in his court application for Monday to Friday parenting time with the child that he consented to that order basically as an easy way to get out of the house. In his application now before the court, the father says the protection order application as well as the mother's conduct after separation has been calculated to keep him out of their child's life. In order to prove his case, he secretly recorded a number of his interactions with the mother using his phone. The court starts by noting that courts across Canada have held that it's generally unacceptable for parties to want to tender evidence of secret audio and video recordings in family law cases. The court basically says that if it readily allowed such evidence in family cases, it would basically be encouraging parties to take such secret recordings, and that would have the effect of increasing the conflict between the parties. And the whole point of family law is to de-escalate the conflict between the parties. Further, taking secret recordings that involve children unnecessarily involves those children in the parents' fight. The court says the test for admissibility of evidence like this ultimately boils down to whether the evidence's probative value outweighs its prejudicial effect to the court. In other words, is it better to admit the evidence than to exclude it? The court says it's often the case that the prejudicial effect of secret recordings in family cases outweighs its probative value because, again, to admit that evidence would be to encourage an escalation of conflict between the parties. If we pause here for a moment, I often hear from people, well, you know, Canada is a one-party consent state, and that may be true. However, the law is clear, specific for family cases. It is presumed that secret recordings will not be admissible unless the probative value of that evidence outweighs its prejudicial effect. In the end, in this case, the court did not admit those recordings that were taken secretly, and in the end did not grant the father's request for a significant change in the parenting schedule.
Why? I showed you 3 minutes of the most boring video ever. Why did I do that? It's because I got hurt! I got hurt, damn it! I see the men's rights guy and the marriage isn't good for the men and the women in Glavin. I get it. I get it. I've done the girl rights rabbit hole with Paul Elam. I get it. And you ever notice where guys, like Claire and I talk about, it's like, don't get married. I'm like, marriage is a bad deal for men. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, it's not a good ideal for men. I talk about relationships well. I absolutely have nothing good to say about marriage. Because, like, here, let's put it this way. You got 4 scenarios, but like 2 only matter. The separation ones. You separate and your girl's amicable and kind and nice. Or you separate and your girl's a massive raging cunt. Now, imagine that where they say, oh, like, even if you separate and you're not in a relationship, like you're not married and you have kids, that's still something to deal with. But as soon as you throw a ring on it, family law gets involved and they fuck you hard. Like here, this is not the only example either, man. So in this case, if you guys didn't understand what he was going at here, he's basically saying dad legally recorded mom acting like an absolute bitch, like trying to alienate the kids from him, which is, it's one of those things that's illegal but not listed as illegal, kind of like sociopathy. It doesn't really exist, but it's there and everybody knows it. And the court's like, well, if we let this in, this is going to encourage other guys to show examples of their wife being an absolutely horrible parent for the benefit of the kids. And we don't want that, because fighting is conflict is bad. Even if it is, the conflict's already there. We just don't want to see it. So we're going to assume, unless it's a horrible case, which I'm assuming Balenciago is the only example we have so far, that we're just going to say, no, sorry, man. You're just going to have to suffer through her absconding with the kids and weaponizing them against you for 20 years. Can we have some more money, please? Because it's family court. And why wouldn't you prefer the women? It's all run by a bunch of horrible feminist chicks. It's not just that. Did you know in Canada too, in another court case, they found out that, let's say you're doing all the tests on the kids and whatever, and then you do your test and you find out, oh, okay, if this test for blood type is true, there's no way this guy's the dad. As a doctor, are you obliged to tell them, hey, by the way, kid's not yours? And the doctors thought really hard about it. They talked to family court lawyers and they said, ultimately, no, it's actually a bad idea because, and here's their justification, if I tell dad that the mom is a cheating whore, he might leave the kids, and that's bad for the family. So when I see all these fresh and fit guys with like, you gotta hold these bitches accountable, I'm like, dude, really? Really? That it's enshrined in law that these bitches will never be held accountable. So fucking relax. Why do you say not to treat women seriously? Why do you say marriage is a bad deal for men? I don't know. Maybe it's because I have 2 functioning brain cells and some eyes, but you know, whatever. Here's the thing though. I could bitch about this stuff for years. You guys will sit here, watch my content. I'll be ranting like Eric Clary. I'm like, these bitches. And you'll be like, oh, this is great content. She's helping men. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that to you guys. Look, you know, it's there. Let it go. Don't marry that chick. If you have any indication that she's not going to be like this, yeah, don't put up with her shit. During the separations, understand the law's not on your side. Act accordingly. Make better decisions. And that's all you can really do. It's like birth control. Because once you nut, you're completely out of the process, man. Out of the process. And what happens for the next 18, 19 years of your life. So better focus on the parts you can control. Because, damn it. But I don't like the feeling. Yeah, well, I don't like child support. So fucking make your decisions. Dude, this is like the least production